We're here, Popcorn Junkies, me and Nadia. We don't often do reviews together. The last one we did was A Star Is Born. It's quite nice. We're here to review Widows, the cinematic remake of the ITV series.
Because it was an absolute appointment to view for me and my mum and my sisters.
Well, you'd have been about 19 then, wouldn't you?
We were obsessed with it. We still now would go, Dolly. If anyone's called Dolly, go, Dolly. Dolly.
We saw the trailer, and we both really liked the trailer. It was quite a sort of, you know, hard-hitting. Viola Davis was giving it some welly. Empowered women. We'd just seen Ocean's 8, so we were up for it, and it looked like a classier prospect than Ocean's 8, didn't it? And it's got a great cast. You know, you've got Viola Davis, you've got Liam Neeson, Colin Farrell, Daniel Kaluuya, probably the girls, Maddie and Kiki's favourite actor in the world at the moment. Robert Duvall, did I say Robert Duvall? Brian Tyree Henry, who you might not know, Nadia, but is another one of Maddie's and Kiki's favourite from the TV series Atlanta. And Steve McQueen is the director. Now, of course, Steve McQueen has great pedigree. Originally a Turner Prize winning conceptual artist, video artist. I remember going to see his work in the Turner Prize.
Do you?
Yeah. And he moved on to make Hunger with Michael Fassbender. He made Shame with Michael Fassbender. He then did 12 Years a Slave. He's won the Oscar, you know, I mean, so he's real pedigree. So I thought, what an interesting thought that a sort of artistic, very sort of visually literate director was taking on what I would call a genre film. You know, he was obviously going to get his hands on a genre, and I can understand the appeal of that. You know, if you're known for doing quite sort of esoteric films.
Checkbook.
A, the checkbook, but B, also playing with a genre as well, a real challenge.
And we don't know what the other one's thinking yet. We haven't discussed it. We never discussed the films until we're in review.
It makes for a really boring date.
It's really annoying because we watch them and then we get in the car and go, God, what about... Oh.
Yeah. So we just sit in silence. Maybe I'll put my hand on her knee. Maybe. If I miss the gear stick. But anyway, yeah, so on the way home, we said nothing. I like a good montage at the beginning of a thriller, like Bond and all that kind of stuff. I love a film starting in the middle of an action. And this does that. This sort of...
I can't remember how
it starts with the men of all the widows doing their heist.
Yeah.
And it was very sort of messily pulled together, I thought. So I found myself flinching for the entire first 3 minutes of the film.
Isn't that funny? Because that's the sort of thing you usually like, being disorientated.
But it didn't disorientate me. I just found it bloody annoying. I found it discordant, and I found it... Well,
I didn't.
Really? Oh, no.
I didn't mind that, and you're cutting back to each of the relationships with the women. No, I quite liked that.
It's not a spoiler to say that obviously the title of this film illustrates that they become widows. So something happens to all the men in the heist, and what we proceed to see is that actually Viola Davis's character's husband has left her with an enormous debt. I won't go into the details of the story, but she has an enormous debt that she has to pay off to sort of some, rather unsavoury characters, exactly. She finds herself holding the baby, if you like, and she needs to kind of resolve this situation, and she has to raise her own cash, so she has to pull her job off. Anyway, and then we had a scene of intense French kissing. Do you remember that?
Which made me, and I looked around, we were watching this at the London Film Festival, I mean, I looked around this incredibly hip crowd of people, because I thought, God, me and March is becoming absolute prudes, and everyone was going like this. It was just a snog, but it was just Liam Neeson. It was something about him that was just, it was just very unpleasant.
Should I be concerned that you're beginning to find men of a certain age increasingly unattractive, and I'm like on a conveyor belt heading towards this age?
You can't have this problem. You're 7 years younger than me.
Yeah, but even though you're older than me, you'll always look back. No, I'll never be older than you, but I'm the oldest man you've ever been with.
Yeah, but that's ridiculous.
Do you know what I mean? I felt the film was at its best when Daniel Kaluuya, plays possibly the most horrendous of villains. I mean, he does psychopathy and sociopathy and sort of almost really ordinary humdrum violence in such a horrendous way, didn't he?
I don't think the violence was humdrum.
Well, no, but there was a humdrumness to his stabbing.
For me, he was too much.
Oh.
He was so scary.
He was really scary.
He unnerved me so much that I got to the point where I was just, as soon as he came on screen, I was looking away, which is quite something, isn't it?
Basically, Daniel Kaluuya's in the pay of the other guy that he's working for, who's running for sort of election.
Local election.
In this district of Chicago. What did you think of that whole subplot? I found it a bit convoluted. It was like another film was happening alongside this film.
It was a bit BBC.
It was, wasn't it?
That part of the plot. It seemed too local.
It did. It just seemed totally irrelevant. And then you had the plug-in of Daniel Kaluuya being the kind of villain who was working for the guy who was trying to get elected. So the villains in the piece, I thought Daniel Kaluuya was very, very good. But I didn't find it believable that he was part of this world that she owed money to. So I didn't find that believable at all. No. So I therefore didn't really find Viola Davis's predicament too frightening.
Oh, I found it very frightening.
Did you?
Oh, I hated it when he came into the house and he held a dog. Yeah, I was frightened for a lot of this film. I was frightened.
I wasn't.
But I don't go and see the terrible horrors and everything. You're very brutalised and desensitised.
Oh, right. That bit.
If you're somebody that doesn't go and see a lot of violent films, and you don't go and see a lot of horrors, somebody like me, it was unnerving and frightening.
Robert Duvall, who we all know from...
Oh, he's so good.
He's a mainstay of American indie cinema, isn't he? I mean, he was in The Godfather, he was in MASH, he was in The Conversation, he was in Apocalypse Now. He's the one who loves the smell of napalm in the morning, isn't he? And I have to say, if you are a Robert Duvall fan, you have to see this film just to see... There's one scene in particular where he just lectures his son, Colin Farrell, in such a brilliantly sort of...
Wallpaper. It's a painting. It's wallpaper.
Oh, he's just so good. He's so good. He's still got it. And however old he is. I mean, so, you know, there are some wonderful, I think, solitary performances in here. I thought Daniel Kaluuya was strong. I thought Robert Duvall was strong. What did you think of Viola Davis?
Well, obviously she's very strong. She's a very strong actress, and she's great in a lot of it. But if I'm really, really honest, for me, she's a wee bit mannered and a wee bit too intense and a wee bit theatre. That performance, for me, it was a bit big for the screen.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It was just a bit over the top.
Yes.
If I'm being brutal.
There's one moment where really all of my alarm bells were going for the entire film when she has this moment.
The same moment.
Yeah, where she screams at herself in the mirror.
Yeah, it didn't come across as true to me.
No.
And I wonder whether he allowed her to get away with that. And that can be the problem for big stars, isn't it? That they don't direct. I mean, I don't know, I'm making all this up, but I just wonder if that was the situation.
Yeah, there was something about...
I would have said, if I'd been the director, I said, that's great, let's just do another one and pull it back a bit.
Yeah. How did you think the group of women coming together worked?
Well, it was very Widows-like. It was very BBC drama.
It was very BBC.
It was very BBC drama. I wanted more with the women. It's strange, really, because for a film that is about women, with women in it, I didn't feel the women that much.
It's very true.
I didn't come out thinking, wow, I've just been washed in women. That was like a full-on woman's movie. And I don't quite know why.
Well, I think the problem was that they got bogged down in the other subplots. I think it got a little bit too carried away. Whereas what they had, the strength, I think, of the whole concept, and the strength, in a sense, I think, of the original series, I was quite young when it came out. Hang on, this is a film you just need to hand it to the women. Now, and Steve McQueen, I've heard him in interviews sort of talking about how he feels that he's emancipating and enabling and sort of redressing the balance and what have you in terms of gender politics. But I felt... in this
film?
Yeah.
I think the problem was, I think he had too many big names in the men.
Yes.
So he had to give them a certain amount of screen time.
Very true.
What I would have done is have lesser names and just give him 10 minutes here and there.
Do you know who my real sort of runaway success was in the female camp? It was Elizabeth Debicki.
Yeah,
I thought she was really good.
She was really, really... But she was given a bit more time.
She was.
Because she had a bit more of a backstory going on.
Yeah.
And I'm sure all the other women did as well, but it hit the cutting room floor, because they were all good actresses. I mean, to be honest, why did we need as big a name as Liam Neeson?
You're right. I thought Michelle Rodriguez was a bit weak. The Latino woman.
The character was.
That's what I mean. The character was
like
weak.
West Side Story light.
It so was, wasn't it? When you're a shark,
you're a shark. Any minute, I thought I was going, I like the washing machine in America.
Another character I really liked, and there's a very powerful scene where they bring her in as the drivers, played by Cynthia Erivo, with the blonde hair. I thought she was great. She had an energy about her, didn't she?
Running.
Yeah.
She was great. I wanted more of her.
Yeah. Well,
I think it's a bit early for you, Steve, to be patting yourself on the back for redressing gender politics.
Yeah, I think so. But here's the thing. So it's a stonkingly long film. It's 2 hours, 10 minutes. And it felt long. And I had a major problem in that when the heist thing happened, I'd hesitate to say that it got brilliant, but it got much more interesting. But it was thrown away so quickly.
I just wanted more of the women all the way through.
Yes.
Because the thing is, it was like you were sitting there as the viewer going, it's over there, it's over there, it's over there, the action, where it's like, bring it to us.
Yeah.
And it just sort of fizzled up to the heist. I wanted more of the relationships between the women. I love Viola Davis like Dolly did in the series, you know, being such a hard cow with them all.
Well, I just felt a huge sense of relief at the end that actually they delivered at least 10 to 15 minutes where I felt vaguely on the edge of my seat, because of the rest of it I was fidgeting like mad. I was in agony with my knee. I liked the moments of Daniel Kaluuya. I really liked the moments with Elizabeth Debicki, as I said. I thought her characterization with her lover and all of that was really strong. There were like shards of genius and I wouldn't say genius actually. There were moments of...
I don't think there was any genius.
Well, he's made 12 Years a Slave, which is a glorious film. What did you think about the way this was shot and the way it looked?
Well, it was very odd because there wasn't really a particular style, except every so often we had these really weird big close-ups.
Macro close-ups.
So is this going to be the thing then? Is this? But there was like 2 of them and then it stopped.
Knowing how he can play with imagery in other films and how he can create such strong imagery, I thought of all the genres, you know, something like a heist movie, any genre film throws up all sorts of opportunities if you have an artistic vision. This film is devoid of an interesting shot.
Well, you would.
I mean, I didn't think any of the scenes were cleverly structured. I thought the tension when the tension came was just the inherent tension of what was going on. I didn't think he did anything as a masterful filmmaker to amplify it or to hold it back or to reveal something. There was a great moment. It was sort of functional. I'd say it was functional. It was there to get you a bit stressed. It was there to get you a bit sort of emotional. I found the flashbacks a bit predictable. There was one twist in the middle that got us both, but really caught us by surprise, didn't it?
The twist is fabulous and I didn't see it coming at all, and I love a good twist.
Yes.
It sounds like I'm just totally dissing this film, and I'm not. I would still say to people to go and see it, but not if you are a real movie buff who loves great filmmaking. It's a bit like a summer holiday book.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's like an airplane read.
Yeah, you're a bit of a page turner.
Yeah. Well, I would say even more than that. I'd say I went to see this film and I wanted to see this film. I mean, I liked the series Widows, but it was never it was a bit kitsch. It was a bit of its time. I was a boy. I was only 13. Why is it of interest to me? What I went to this film to see was an inventive director playing with a genre. And I got nothing.
You didn't get that.
I got absolutely nothing. So if you're a Steve McQueen fan, for anyone out there going, oh, Steve McQueen, it's 12 Years a Slave, oh, Hunger, and you know his films, steer clear of this. Would you give it a score?
Really difficult because I think a lot of people would enjoy it, but for me it just wasn't woman enough. I wanted it to be more woman. 4.5.
4.5. You see,
out of 10.
Okay, for me this was a crushing disappointment. I was excited, I was looking forward to an inventive play with the genre, and I didn't get any of it. So I would give this, based on what I was going in and what my expectations were, I'd give this a 3 out of 10. And subscribe.
And hit the notification bell, because if you don't hit the notification bell, YouTube won't tell you when we've uploaded a video.
Sometimes they don't anyway.
And they don't anyway even then. For more film and family fun, don't forget to click the subscribe button and make sure to click the bell to never miss an update.